Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Bimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Bimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Deitchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Nimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rob, would you read for us at bottom of page 13? The sun.
The sun on the treetops no longer is seen. Come, let us welcome Shabbat, the true queen. Behold her descending, the holy, the blessed, and with her God's angels of peace and of rest. Come now, dear queen, with us abide. Come now, Shabbat, our bride. Shalom Aleichem, angels of peace.
Let's go. We lit the candles already, but we didn't bless, and so it's perfect timing. Let's go make our blessing over the Shabbat candles. And if you haven't had a chance, then please join in with our blessing.
I'm so excited! Yay!
Come on back, guys.
Where should we cool it?
I know I hear some good stuff happening. So there we go. And I'm going to let in Carl. So what I'd like to do is, girls, every week I ask for some inspiration for who you should be like whom. And today I wish you the qualities of our director of operations, Beth Jarvis. So Beth has been under the weather, but she left the hospital today and she's on the mend, and there's nothing that should continue from this point. And so she is recovering from surgery and she's going to take a week off. And there are many people devoted to the Jewish community, but none exceed her commitment. So for the daughter of a minister and a person from a family of faith and a commitment to values that we often share, I've never seen anyone more committed to the Jewish community than Beth Jarvis. So may you grow up to be like Beth. She is a warrior for the Jewish people, Jewish or not, all the same. And I hope you also can have that quality of year after year after year, finding a way to find that place in yourself to serve the community, and to keep, the only way to do that is when you keep the ideals right in front of your eyes. Because when you lose sight of the ideals, then it can be a challenge. So may you be like Beth, and we wish her a refuah shlema over the coming week. Let's do a little bit of Yedid Nefesh. Girls, will you do it? Page 14. I'll get out of the way.
Yedid Nefesh of Harachaman Mishochatav Eretz Onach Yeretz Adak Moaya Yishtachavel Chadara Yerev Lo Yedidu Tzach Milu Fetzu Becholtam Yigalena Uvras Haviv Ayet Sukkot Shelomach Zayet Nigvodach Nagilat B'nismechapach Maherahu Kival Moed Bechoneni Kive'olam
Yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da da da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada Page 15, whatever is weighing you down from the week, let's drop it to the ground so we enter Shabbat unburdened. Lechu niranena l'Adonai Nariya litzor yishenu Nikad mafana b'tahota Bismirot Nariya lo. We continue silently to the bottom of the page. For the final 3 lines, we remind ourselves to try to find the world beautiful as it is, instead of it needing us to create something new in it or to change something within it. Let Shabbat be a time where we experience the world as blessing. So we listen to the final 3 lines telling us, don't complain about something that's missing, but appreciate what's there. Arba'im shana akut b'tor v'omar Am tohe levahem, vehem lo yadu, derachar, asher nishbati v'yapi, im yavon el menuchati. And the Psalms stretch before us, the Psalms that say that all of the world is full of song, every single part of it. We've noticed in the snow that we are waking up to straight lines that my Google camera thing app says is snakes. And so the world is full of things living under our house that are making song, and every little nook and cranny in nature of creation is full of its own sounds and its own beautiful life. And we're a part of it. And its song that it makes is heard by God as music and as praise, as prayer. So may our prayers be something like their prayers. May we find a way to say our Shema and open our mouths and hum along, and that God would hear the sounds that come from us as sounds of praise and prayer. And as we move through those Psalms, I share a little bit of poetry today in lieu of the Psalms that the Kabbalist selected for us. And so I'm going to read a little bit of winter poetry. And so I'm going to read a couple of poems tonight from Theodore Roethke. And I fell in love with Theodore Roethke at college, and I never saw his poems, or I never saw him praised as others were. So as I went on to do things like the serious poets like Rilke, I took a seminar actually with Ralph Friedman, Alav HaShalom, beautiful, beautiful scholar of Rilke, member of the congregation here at Beth Israel. But people like Rilke were serious, but no one ever taught Roethke. So I thought, okay, well, maybe he's not so great. But I've learned in life to trust my instincts, that when I fall in love with something and something connects me to it, that I should cultivate that relationship, and I should cultivate the faith that I have in my own soul being attracted to something, and not worry about what people think. So I'm going to share some of Roethke's beautiful poetry tonight. This is a short poem called "It Was Beginning Winter." It was beginning winter, in in-between time, the landscape still partly brown. The bones of weeds kept swinging in the wind above the blue snow. It was beginning winter. The light moved slowly over the frozen field, over the dry seed crowns, the beautiful surviving bones swinging in the wind. Light traveled over the wide field, stayed. The weeds stopped swinging. The wind moved not alone through the clean air in the silence. And I'm going to read the end of a series of poems that I guess it's like a series of 4 from one of his longest poems, which is called "The Far Field." And it's about a journey. Reminds me of the journey that we're just starting now in Torah. We're crossing the sea last week and heading out for our 40 years. And so journeys are on my mind, as well as the journey of this year pandemic, of course, that's on all of our minds. So from the end of that, it goes like this. I learned not to fear infinity. The far field, the windy cliffs of forever, the dying of time in the white light of tomorrow, the wheel turning away from itself, the sprawl on the wave, the oncoming water. The river turns on itself. The tree retreats into its own shadow. I feel a weightless change, a moving forward, as of water quickening before a narrowing channel, when banks converge and the wide river whitens, or when two rivers combine, the blue glacial torrent and the yellowish green from the mountainy upland, at first a swift rippling between the rocks, then a long running over flat stones before descending to the alluvial plain, to the clay banks, and the wild grapes hanging from the elm trees. The slightly trembling water dropping a fine yellow silt where the sun stays, and the crabs bask near the edge, the weedy edge, alive with small snakes and bloodsuckers. I have come to a still, but not a deep center, a point outside the glittering current. My eyes stare at the bottom of a river, at the irregular stones, iridescent sand grains. My mind moves in more than one place, in a country half land, half water. I am renewed by death, thought of my death, the dry scent of a dying garden in September, the wind fanning the ash of a low fire. What I love is near at hand, always in earth and air. The lost self changes, turning toward the sea, a C shape turning around. An old man with his feet before the fire, in robes of green, in garments of adieu, a man faced with his own immensity, wakes all the waves, all their loose wandering fire. The murmur of the absolute, the why of being born, falls on his naked ears. His spirit moves like monumental wind that gentles on a sunny blue plateau. He is the end of things, the final man. All finite things reveal infinitude. The mountain with its singular bright shade like the blue shine on freshly frozen snow. The afterlight upon ice-burdened pines. Odor of basswood on a mountain slope, a scent beloved of bees, silence of water above a sunken tree. The pure serene of memory in one man, a ripple widening from a single stone, winding around the waters of the world. The service continues following psalms of watery imagery of the rivers rushing and making their sounds, and then Psalm 93 with the storm over the waters and the waters rising of the oceans. We continue at that point on page 21 with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likra Kabbalat, Shamor v'zachor b'diborecha yishmi'anu, Elam yichad Adonai echad, u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet. Lecha Dodi likra Kabbalat, Shabbat Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshava tefila.
Lecha Dodi likrat Kabbalat, Shabbat nekabela.
Mikdash melech yirmelucha kumitzei mitoch ha'afecha harav lach shevet be'en mekabacha v'hu yachamol alayichem la.
Lecha Dodi likrat Kabbalat, Shabbat nekabela.
Arise and shake off the dust of the earth and pursue Tiferet, the balance of worth. Messiah will soon lead us to rebirth. Let my soul now sense Redemption's warm rays, Hitoreri, kiva ore, kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kavod Adonai, alayik nigla. Lo tevo shiva, lo tikami, mati shtochachi, humatemi, bach yakasu anyeyami, benivneta ir atila. Behayun lim shisa shohosai feraku koho mevalai kasisa lai Elohai kim sos chatan akala. Yaminus mo'oti hifrod sivieta donai ta'ariti yarish behen parti v'nismecha ben agila. Boi v'shalom atehebala gam besimcha uvetzohala toch emunei am segula boi chala That was, it sounded like, no, that was the end. I was thinking as we face the bride to welcome her, the bride of the Shekhinah and of the spirit of Shabbat, as we welcome her in, I'm wondering with all the Zoom weddings happening, whether we should not be like staring at the screen and welcoming the spirit of Shabbat in. So maybe next week we'll stare in that direction to honor the experience that we're having. We're on page 23 for the Shabbat song. Mizmor
Shir, Mizmor Shir, Shir Le'om HaShabbat. Mizmor Shir, Mizmor Shir, Shir Le'om HaShabbat.
Tov lehodot l'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, lehagid ba'boker chastecha, v'emunatcha ba'leilot.
Mizmor Shir, Mizmor Shir, Shir Le'om HaShabbat. Mizmor Shir, Mizmor Shir, Shir Le'om HaShabbat.
We continue down to the bottom of the page. Tzadika tamar yifrach.
Neret Lamanon
Yizkeh shetulim bebeit Adonai b'chatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvot b'seva d'shenim v'rananim ihu lehagid Ki Ashar Adonai tzuri, tzuri, v'lo havlatabu. Page 24. Edotecha nemnu ma'od levedcha nava kodesh Adonai, orech yamim. The first of our two mourners' Kaddishes arrives at this moment. Beth Israel congregation remembers, among others tonight, the yortzites of Clara Prince Adelson, Stephen Davidoff, Audrey Elkis, Rose Fair, Max Glazier, David Goldberg, Betty Greenberg, Dora Horowitz, Kenneth Paul Jones, Bernard Kelman, Aaron Kirpich, Anna Lakin, Ida Leibovitz, Walter Levine, Buena Lichter, Joseph Lindsay, Harry Mankoff, Sylvia Markel, Hannah Meyerstein, Jules Mello, Beatrice Millett, Arthur Miller, Simon Monk, Sherry Moen, Katan Penchasov, Charles Perlman, Ida Popovitskaya, Faye Roth, Louis Saper, Leon Shearer, Helene Schwartz, Harry Serwin, Norma Schifrin, May Siegel, Celia Silberstein, Marvin Spector, Samuel Stein, Harry Tolchinsky, Edna Weil, Armand Zillian, Louis Slotkin. As we continue to say Kaddish for Barry Polsky, Clarice Mallet, Anita Strasberg, Vivian Lichter, Bruce Serwin, Ron Good, Greg Schaefer, Jack Kushinsky, Ethel Kellen, Maxine Feig, Mary Jane Northrup, Ann Gare, Daniel Greenberg, Michael Perlman, Eli Botkin, Gloria Greenfield, Dr. Stanley Pinsky, Roberta Kirshner, Milt Rockman, Mitchell Kramer, Darwin Bender, Erwin Pollack, Arya Greenberg, Harvey Danowitz, and Millie Dietrich. For those reciting Kaddish, please rise and recite along with me. You're welcome to unmute and say it together.
Yes, Gadal,
Yigadal, Kadash, Meraba, Bialma,
Ma Divra Kirute Viamlik Malkute. Chayechon Yomechon Chaye to Kol Beit Yisrael.
Ba'agala,
Bisman Kari Vimru. Amen.
Yehesh Meraba, Mevarach, Leolam, Olamel Maya. Yiparach, Yishtabach, Yipar, Yitromam, Vitnase. Vitadar, Vitalev, Vitalal, Shemeda Kudisha, Brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata
V'nachlamata.
v'amiran
Amiran V'yoma Vimru. Amen.
Yehi
Ve
shlama
Shlama
rabba
Rabba
v'yishmaya
V'yishmaya.
v'chayim
Im
aleinu
Aleinu
v'yal
V'yal
Yisrael
Yisrael Vimru.
Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom
Shalom
b'roma,
V'rama.
hu
Huya
ya'aseh
Se
shalom.
Shalom.
Aleinu v'yal
Aleinu
kol
V'yal Kol
Yisrael.
Yisrael Vimru.
Imru.
Amen.
May their memories continue to bring blessings to this world in visible ways and in unseen ways. Page 28, we continue with Mari. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bivaro ma'ariv harabim v'chokmateh shemim. Uma'avir yom u'mevei layla mavdil ben yom u'ben layla Adonai tzvaot shemo el chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv harabim. 29. Ahavat olam
Ben Yisrael, Amcha Torah u'mitzvot, u'kilu mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, v'shochneinu u'v'kumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu v'yorech yameinu, yorech yameinu, u'lahem neged, Nolam
v'layla. V'yavatcha tasimenu l'olamim, baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Page 30 for the V'ahavta. You guys stand up and get close to the mic.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושינתם לפניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך וישבתך וקומך ושרתם לאות על ידיך והיו טובות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
And we continue silently through 30 and 31. Then your days and the days of your children on the land Adonai swore to give your ancestors will endure as the days of the heavens over the earth. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Middle of page 32. Ron Sussman sang this from the Torah last week, and this week we'll sing it from the prayer book. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha neter b'kodesh, norat tehilot oseh pele. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha bokei hayam livnei Moshe, ze'eli anu v'yameru. Adonai imach
Ne'elam ba'ed.
v'ne'emar kifada Adonai Yaakov v'golem chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai ga'al Yisrael. In such an important time of pandemic, let's all read together, even muted. Please read with me and with us in your prayer book, top of 33. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise are you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all your people, Israel, and over Jerusalem, and over the entire world. Page 34. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'ritolam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'ritolam.
Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et ha'aretz.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'ritolam.
And on the seventh day, God ceased and was resouled. God ceased and was refreshed. God ceased and was refreshed. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'ritolam. On the middle of page 34, we're getting ready for our silent prayer. Of course, at night, the Amidah is thoroughly silent. If there are parts, so this is my recommendation to you. If there are parts you never get to, maybe today, skip to those parts. So if you spend a lot of time on the first page, maybe today is a day to let me do the first page and cover you as the service leader. The service leader should do every single word and do everything accurately by Jewish law. But when we pray in a community, it also gives us the freedom when we are not the service leader to have our own prayers and to do our own thing. And then we say amen to the service leader and we're covered for the halacha. I guess I just made a cross. Forget that. It's not a cross. I'm making a Jewish star. And so it's something like that. And that's one of the beauties. So one of the things you may be surprised if I say, I really think we should be praying our own prayer right now with our eyes closed. And then you say, but then Rav Nadav's not closing his eyes. He's reading the words. That's really a hypocrite. But the idea being that whoever's the service leader is doing every word, and that frees everybody up to either do every word or to pick and choose, to drift, to find their way to the right feet in which to pray before whom they are praying. So if for the Amidah coming up on the next pages, if there's a place you want to sit a little bit, like it could be in the middle of page 36. What does it mean to cleanse our hearts? What does it mean that we're asking God to give us, to let us inherit Shabbat? What does it mean that Shabbat is an inheritance? What does it mean that we want God to do that lovingly? What would it mean if God gave us the inheritance of Shabbat but didn't do it lovingly? Whereas Rabbi Ed Feinstein at Valley Beth Shalom used to say, I'm bothered by the other part. It says, God, you should let us inherit Shabbat lovingly and also willingly. Well, like, why wouldn't God willingly let us inherit Shabbat? Why do we have to add that word? So you might want to sit with the inheritance of Shabbat, and maybe you find clues to solving these puzzles with the other words in that paragraph. Or maybe you want to spend time with the top of page 37, with the Modim that is part of every single Amidah. What does it mean that there are miracles or signs that attend us morning, noon, and night? Have there been signs in your life? Have there been signs from a loved one for whom you might be saying Kaddish? What are the signs that attend us morning, noon, and night? And and how do we pay attention to those? So, or to pick a random paragraph and to really sit with it for the whole Amidah. Here we are. We're in the middle of page 34. Yitkada v'yitkada shemer haba v'yama divra kirte v'yamlich malchute v'chayechan u'vyomechan u'v'chayetecha beit Yisrael ha'agala v'zman ha'kari ve'imeru
Amen.
Yehi shmera b'mevarach Ya'alamu le'olam haya Yitbarach Yishtabach V'yipar v'yitrama v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei Kedusha le'ehela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'yamha v'yimeru. Private prayer in the Amidah 35b to 38, or some piece of that, or closing your eyes and having a peace arise in you. For those who are still davening, please continue. And the rest of us are on page 38 in the middle.
My God, keep my tongue from evil, my lips from lies. Help me ignore those who would slander me. Let me be humble before all. Open my heart to your Torah, that I may pursue your mitzvot. Frustrate the designs of those who plot evil against me. Make nothing of their schemes. Act for the sake of your compassion, your power, your holiness, and your Torah. Answer my prayer for the deliverance of your people. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, my rock and my redeemer. May the one who brings peace to his universe bring peace to us and to all the people Israel. Amen.
And let's sing that final line in Hebrew. Oseh shalom bimrolav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael. If we're at the Aramaic of page 48 for Kaddish Shalem, that means we're in the Platt household. So
there, got it. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'akirte v'yamlich malchute b'chayachonu v'yamichonu chayedechol be'it Yisrael v'agalav zman kari v'yimaru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivorach v'olam lo me'amaya yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitrama v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shmei dekudashah v'yichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nemata damiran v'yalma v'yimaru. Amen. Tikabel chlorchon v'alchon dechol Yisrael kadamu v'shol v'shemaya v'yimaru. Amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shamaya b'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen. Oh, say shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru. Amen.
Charles would be proud of you both. We're on page 51 for Aleinu. And you guys are still on for Aleinu.
You want us to do it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'tekedu l'yotzer breshit shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot velo samanu k'mishpachot hadama shelo sam chelkeinu kahen v'gor aleinu kekol hamonam v'anachnu korim Umishachavim umodim lifnei melech malech hamalchim hakadosh baruch hu. Shehu notei shamayim v'yoseh haaretz u'Moshe v'karam b'shamayim ima'al u'shvinatu zo b'gabei miromi hu Eloheinu ein od Emet malkeinu efes ulato kakatu v'torato v'yatata hayom b'ashkibo et livacha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim mima'al v'al ha'aretz mitachat eino. Kakatu b'toratecha Adonai imloch li'olam va'ed v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad.
Yashar Kol Chachem. We're arriving on page 52 for the second of our two mourners' Kaddishes. For those who are reciting tonight, please rise and recite along with me. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad ivra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudesha rihu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mroma, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May their memories bring blessings to this world continually. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Before we have a closing reading and kiddush, some announcements that I wanted to just make. This weekend, tomorrow is the bar mitzvah of Jordan Reingold, and we're expecting a big crowd, and hopefully they'll behave themselves, and a wonderful celebration by Zoom. Very interesting Devar Torah that Jordan has prepared. I tell the kids you can pretty much say anything you want, and so he will. And so if that's not going to get you to come, I don't know what will. And but it's going to happen, and we look forward to celebrating with Matt and Allie and their extended family and Noah. So that is all happening tomorrow. On Sunday, we have the worldwide wrap. Can't do it in person this year, and we can't, but at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning, you can see in the Just the Links email that went out, I think it was yesterday, there's a link for 10 a.m. We'll just do Shacharit. So we've got a morning service on Sunday. I hope you'll join us. You don't have to fill in order to join us. You can get on Zoom and just have a weekday morning service to daven along with. And so I invite you to do that and pay attention to the fact that we didn't forget it this year. We're just going to do a simple Zoom davening service from home. Thems that have the tefillin, we'll lay them. If you've been wanting to purchase, so obviously it won't happen by Sunday, if you'd like to purchase tefillin, I have put a link up on the Beth Israel website. You have to look under engage and like service leading. It's the same area where you can find the instructions for signing up on for TorahReaders.net to be part of the participation crew on Saturday morning. And on that same page where we talk about TorahReaders.net, we talk about getting comfortable on the Bima with Ron and other things, you'll find a link to a wonderful place to buy tefillin from Israel. So if that's something, we'll try to celebrate in that way. Other things happening this week, of course, are, I see a thumbs up. So, is that thumbs up for tefillin or
Just life in general.
or life or something? We'll find out. We'll find out after I shut down the YouTube feed. And so I just want to let everybody know that those are some of the things that are happening. You know, if you ever feel like doing a part of the Friday night service, like I always throw it to the Platts, then you can always just text, put it in the chat area for Amanda, and she'll let me know. And next week, maybe Amanda, you'll remind me to specify different pages that I think are appropriate for people to take on, like Aleinu and other kinds of things. So those are, I also want you to pay attention after Shabbat, an email that went out just before Shabbat started from the congregation announcing a whole bunch of Purim activities upcoming. And they include everything from Purim bags, adult Purim bags at Beth Israel to Matanot Elyonim. And in addition, we have things for children, such as the Bible players making a return visit to here to Ann Arbor by Zoom, and also like a mini, like a Purim carnival by Zoom, a Zoom Purim carnival for small children leading up to the Megillah reading. And this year, the Megillah reading will be done, there'll be a live band. So Neil and I have assembled a live band. There'll be live music between the chapters. Rabbi Daberson will be with us, and we will be chanting Megillah from, hopefully, God willing, from the Beth Israel sanctuary, and beaming it out like we did High Holy Days, so that in top audio fidelity, and for people to be able to lean back and and stare at the large screen TV and throw popcorn or something every time we hit Haman's name. So, and there'll be a completely inappropriate spiel that I've written, and that'll be in between some of the chapters as well, just so people can say, I can't believe the rabbi actually did this on Purim. So that's my way of also trying to get you to come. So please check your email after Shabbat. With that, I'd like to close the service with the right spirit of Shabbat heading in. And with that, I'm going to ask Emmy to read the last paragraph of the Shabbat, Friday night Shabbat Amidah. It can be found at the top of page 48. And I'm just going to go over there right now. Give me one moment. And sorry, we are. Deborah, did you change? Yeah, oh, you changed your name. Sorry. So there we go. And that's what was going on. And there we go. Top of page 48.
Our God and God of our ancestors, find favor in our Shabbat rest. Instill in us the holiness of your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our portion. Fill our lives with your goodness, and gladden us with your triumph. Cleanse our hearts so that we might serve you faithfully, lovingly, and willingly. Adonai our God, grant that we inherit your holy Shabbat, so that the people Israel who hallow your name will find rest on this day. Praised are you, Adonai, who hallow Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat. Beautiful job.